Hello, good morning, and time for today's message from the Morning Man. A young student was waiting to meet his brother at the airport when he observed a man returning from someplace being met by his wife. Now, the man was all smiles as he and his wife kissed and canoodled and giggled playfully. They refused to let go of each other, even as they maneuvered his overloaded baggage trolley through the arrival's gate. Now, as the clearly smitten couple passed by him, the young man couldn't help himself. Excuse me, he said. May I ask how long you've been married? The couple stopped, but the husband answered without breaking eye or body contact with his grinning wife. 20 years, he said with a chuckle. And children, I've always wanted the opportunity to teach you this. A chuckle is a quiet, suppressed laugh. It is not the sound you make when you suck your teeth in annoyance. This is not a chuckle, okay? Right, back to the story. 20 years of marriage. Wow, the young student was suitably impressed. And for how long were you away on this trip? He asked. 1 whole day, they both exclaimed together. Now, at this point, the young student was blown away. My goodness, all this affection because you've been separated for a day? Well, I hope one day I can have a marriage that is as loving as yours after 20 years. Suddenly, the man turned to face the student and grabbed him by the shoulders. He gazed piercingly into the young man's eyes and said in a quiet voice filled with steely purpose, "Don't hope. Decide." My dear friends, I'm sharing this story with you not only for the benefit of married couples or those planning to wed. They're definitely not the only people who need to stop hoping and decide. We all do. You listen to your favorite presenter or you watch your favorite show host, you dance to your favorite musician, and you hope you can be like them one day. Don't hope. Decide. You have an exam in a few months' time and you hope you will pass. Don't hope. Decide. You just became born again or converted to the Islamic faith and you hope you can abide by the rules and commandments. Don't hope. Decide. You've been given a project and you hope you can deliver on time. Don't hope. Decide. There's an election coming up in just a few weeks, and we keep hearing leaders saying, let's pray for peace. Let's hope for a peaceful election. As if peace is something we will be gifted by some benevolent God if we pray hard enough and beg pathetically enough for it. So even as we get warning after warning about the volatility of the coming elections, even as security experts point out the clear and present dangers, even as actual fights and actual shootings occur at police stations, some of the gunshots fired by actual ministers, we simply proceed as if we have no control here and that peace will just happen if we hope hard enough for it. Well, I woke up with a different attitude today. If you are not tired of living in an imperiled, violent nation without a strategy for its own salvation, or even the faintest shadow of a clue how to drag itself out of this 63-year-old pit we have been digging, then I am. But if you are tired too, then for the sake of our poor, suffocating nation and for the love of our good God above, let's not hope to end electoral violence. Let's decide. For so many years now, we've heard those in charge of our economy hope for good cocoa, gold, and oil prices. We've heard those in charge of our power hope for more rain in the Volta River. We've heard those in charge of our education hope for better results this year. We've heard those responsible for our health hope that COVID-19 doesn't kill us all. Now, I don't know when hope became our national strategy, but I can assure you it won't take us far. We all need to understand the pivotal role we each play in our own destinies and stop leaving our very survival as individuals and as a nation to chance. I've never met a billionaire who hoped their way to success or an athlete who hoped their way to victory. Achievement and progress come to those who decide to make it. They consider all the potential hardships and possible pitfalls that might stand in the way of their advancement, and they decide to proceed regardless. They decide to make it. And so, no matter what comes their way, no matter what shakes their resolve, no matter who pulls them back, they still make it. You know, a decision is a powerful thing. It eliminates all other options. And this is good, especially since we're all faced with only two options in life: success or failure. Best to decide on success, don't you think? My name is Kojo Yankson, and I have decided to make a difference. Good morning, Ghana.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the AM News. I am Apita Sibidi. Now, the Ashanti Regional Police Command has arrested 10 people at Abo, sparking protests from some supporters of the NDC who besieged the Central Police Command. The police said the arrest was part of a routine police swoop on the area in response to recent robberies in the region. But Member of Parliament for Asawase, Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak, said the 10 are members of his campaign team who were arrested in front of his office after a mini rally in the constituency. Love FM's Erastus Asari Donko has been following the development and now reports.
A statement from the police said the swoop, which saw the arrest of the 10 men, was part of a special police operation in response to recent cases of armed robberies in the metropolis. But the MP for Asawase, Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak, and supporters of the NDC say otherwise. They besieged the Central Police Headquarters to show solidarity. So some of these supporters came here as early as 9 a.m. today, and they are protesting the arrest of 10 men who were arrested yesterday in front of the office of the Member of Parliament at Abuabo in Kumasi. Now, what you're witnessing now is just a confrontation, verbal exchanges between the supporters and a number of police personnel who have been brought here to maintain law and order. Now, they were protesting and insisting that the 10 people be granted police inquiry bail. Now, 9 of them have been granted police bail. It's left with one identified only as a Scorpion, who the police are keeping in their custody, and according to the MP, they are using him to do their investigation. MP for Asawase, Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak, expressed reservations for the style of arrest adopted by the police.
They said that they were looking for a suspect and they were chasing, and they go to do this swooping. So the only thing they can say is that it was on basis of suspected robbery, but not caught in the act. I mean, you come in front of my office, young people are there taking their supper, you swoop and collect all of them, and the only thing you can find on your mind is to say suspected armed robbery. Well, I don't know, I'm not a police officer, but it looks weird for me. Well, I believe you could find something else to say rather than to say suspected robbery. But I'm not a police officer, like I said. They are police officers. I only hope they are going to be fair and just and professional in the work that they do.
Now, an executive member of the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, Bishop Samuel Noy-Mensah, says corruption would never be uprooted from Ghana's economy if punitive measures expected to be meted to perpetrators are not enforced. Speaking at the Joy News Christian Election Forum on the theme, Election 2020, the role of the church, Bishop Samuel Noy-Mensah recommended redefinition of measures aimed at making corruption unattractive.
Since our 1992 Constitution and we were into the Fourth Republic, every successive government have been more corrupt than the previous government. And
you are saying it means that we are worse off than we used to be?
Exactly, in corruption. And the next government will be more corrupt than this present government.
Prove that, Bishop Mensah.
The reason why this has happened is that nobody has witnessed people being punished for being corrupt. You come to the office and within 4 years, you acquire lands, filling stations, buildings, and what have you, and you are coming from among the society. And the people knew you before you went into government. And within 4 years, how can you probably acquire all this wealth? And yet nobody will call you to question. Nobody will prosecute you because the member of government who must prosecute you, the Attorney General, is in his own government. So why is he going to prosecute his own? So you are let off the hook. So then when the next government comes, all right, the previous people, they did it and nobody punished them. So we'll be more corrupt than, the previous government. But until we make this corruption unattractive, we wouldn't have successive governments corrupting themselves. So that is what we see ourselves now. Every successive government has been more corrupt than the previous government. And until we redefine what we want to do, we will be worse off.
Elections and festive seasons like Christmas are often periods a lot of road traffic accidents are recorded in the country. With these two major events just around the corner, value your life and don't underestimate any road safety information. This sums up an advice from one of Ghana's renowned plastic surgeons who doubles as the Chief Executive Officer of the Komfanachi Teaching Hospital. Dr. Ihineba Owusu-Danso, who is worried about the permanent injuries a lot of Ghanaians are suffering through road traffic accidents.
Road safety campaigns and road safety measures generally is something that we must all adhere to, especially for the season that we find ourselves in and for heading towards December, because we have two critical events for December 2020, and this is to do with our elections on December 7th and also towards Christmas. These are big events that generally is going to call for a lot of movement on our roads and across the country, And my admonition is that we must all adhere to road safety measures. We should listen to road safety authority, and some of the measures that have been put in place by the Ministry of Roads and Transport to regulate the way we speed, the carefulness on the road, and also the observance of traffic regulation generally by also pedestrians. I think it's important because I'm speaking from where I've come from before I came to this city, practicing as a practice surgeon. Almost all the patients that we get here, we will see from the analysis that we have. And in fact, we have programs with the DVA and then the road safety authority before. In terms of some of the accident analysis that we have in this country, we could see that a large number of them are actually avoidable or preventable. And a large number of them are due to human errors in terms of the drivers, in terms of the pedestrians, in terms of passengers. And so therefore, I think for most of the admonitions that come across in these campaigns, we are the targets. Drivers, clients or passengers who are boarding some of these things, and then the pedestrians. I think we need to adhere to these measures, because it will go a very long way to actually reduce the rate at which we are going to be receiving cases in the hospital. As a plastic surgeon, we get a lot of cases affecting the hand. And let me say that even as every surgery is very, very critical and important in our lives, as a plastic surgeon, we look at the disfigurement, the damage, and sometimes permanent loss or damage to the hand.
That's it for the AM News. I am Apita CBD. The AM show continues with Mama V and Benjamin. Enjoy.
Oh, hello there again. If you're just joining us, you're watching the AM show here on Joy News, and you're welcome to the news review segment of our show. Just gone by, Mapito Sibidi with the AM News. Benjamin is here with me as we take a look at the newspapers. We'll touch base with myjohnline.com. Hopefully we can do the BBC as well. Ben?
Hey, good to be here. Good to share the information in the newspapers. I'll start with the Daily Statesman this morning.
Okay.
And it says, post-COVID-19 rebuilding crucial in December 7 polls. That's the CDM saying that. I've been truthful to you. Akufo-Addo asks Ghanaian for 4 more to do more. And then voting MPP means 1 step forward. NDC means 2 steps backwards. That's according to the Vice President, Bawumia. Then Antonio Stana helps resolute West Ham draw with Man City. Did you check out any of the matches over the weekend?
Not quite.
West
Just
Ham
looked at the
locking horns
results.
with Manchester City and, of course, Man U versus Chelsea and all of that. Some very interesting results, actually. But it was a draw there. And then Tyson Fury to fight on the 5th of December in London. And likely he's going to face off with Deontay Wilder, whom he stripped of his title. That's with the Daily Statesman, Mamavi.
All right, let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Front page of the Times today, of course, Samson Ladia Yenini adjudged 2019 Journalist of the Year. Ghanaian Times editor named outstanding editor. And then they also talk about some of the journalists who picked up other awards. President cut sold for construction of first phase Tema Aflao Road. And then second-hand car dealer wanted for alleged fraud. This guy, whose picture is on the front page of the paper, hopefully you can see that pretty shortly, actually won an award recently. They say 40 and the 40 award. And he collected somebody's 21,000 Ghana cedis, in exchange for a second-hand vehicle. And he's been on the run since. It's been about 7 or 8 months, according to the story in the paper today. Also, NPP and DC supporters clash at Ododo Diodio. Journalists must uphold ethics principles to promote nation-building, peace, security. Contained in that statement, read on behalf of the Chief Justice at the 25th GJA Awards. On the back page, IHG, that's the International Hospital Group, which is an international healthcare services company, has handed over a new 112 capacity mortuary cold chamber to the police hospital in Accra. And then population and housing census slated for next year. So that's how the front page of the paper looks like. And that's the, all right, there you go. The gentleman who allegedly collected 21,000 Ghana cedis from someone and has defrauded, allegedly, according to the story. That's him on the front page of the paper. That's it for the Ghanaian Times.
The Daily Guide, that's where I continue from. It says, Rawlings in tears. Over the weekend, he said goodbye to his mom. And in that, what's the name for the tribute? Yes, read on his behalf by Dr. Zaneto Rawlings. You know how he talks about his mother never wanting him to have become a soldier, yet he did, and especially when after the coup and he got apprehended and all of that, the feeling then that maybe he had made the wrong choice and all of that, but his mother had always been that stalwart. I felt, the emotion there. So that story is on the front page of the Daily Guide. NPP launches a doctor polling station campaign. Nana Kat sought for Tema water and a Shaiman waste plant. Mahama supervised crass corruption. All of that on the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. And that last story I read out, Mahama supervised crass corruption, Godfrey Dame in the mix on that one. When you go to the back page, what is the biggest thrashing? I know you're a football fan, so I usually come to you. What is the biggest gap you've seen in a football match before?
My son asked me this yesterday.
He did?
Yeah.
Interesting then, so you have something.
It was 13 something. He was asking if it was the worst. And I said I didn't think so, but I couldn't remember.
Right. So that's exactly what I'm asking you about. I've heard outrageous score lines in the past. In fact, there was a Nanya FC, Abedi Pele's Nanya FC, way back with another terrific score line. But this one, Ajax smashing 13 past Venlo. I can't believe how the manager for Venlo would be feeling, but that was in the Dutch Eredivisie. Kotoko ex-striker dies, that's Stephen Owusu, at age 37. 37. And then Magdan Foundation matches end on high. So that's it with the Daily Guide newspaper.
Let's do the Daily Dispatch. Front page of the Dispatch. Can Okoboy break the Lejakuku jinx of not re-electing an MP? Say smiley Dr. Okoboy on the front page of the paper. Police list 4,000 hotspots. Ashanti 617 and Central 537. So both top the lists. And then you were talking about Dodo with those 50 hotspots there. Yes. They've got other places as well in the Greater Accra region. Lots of them, by the way. This one that the paper is highlighting. Let's see, maybe we can come back to it. So let's do the rest of the headlines on the front page. Kufuor cut sold for construction of waste plants and stadium for Oti region. Can MPPs Anthony Cabo retain the Laura seats? Big question. That's the Dr. Bedzidin, who is representing the NDC alongside Mr. Anthony Cabo of the NPP on the front page of the Daily Dispatch. Well, details of those two on the back page of the Daily Dispatch.
Well, the story here, the publisher newspaper, I wish you die in prison. It's a judge telling a jailbird. He's been in and out, in and out, in and out, and the frustrated judge tells him, I wish you die in prison. I just think, though, that those were words that could have been swallowed.
Listen to the details of it. So this is a man who has defiled his own granddaughter, who's about 2 years old.
Terrible.
And I mean, if you were, he was sentenced to 21 years imprisonment and hard labor, by the way. So I guess this is just, if you were delivering that judgment, you would be angry, you would be upset, you would be, I don't know, all the things that you used to describe. I don't hold anything against the judge. I mean, I was very annoyed hearing details of that. And this was an auntie that saved, can we even say save the little girl? Because, you know, she heard the cries of the girl and then went into the room and got the girl out.
And this is a 60-year-old man. What kind of libido? I mean,
and this is your granddaughter. I mean, there's a whole lot of it that's upsetting. And I was thinking that, Charlie, even 21 cry, if there was a way to give more than that, that would have been good.
The law is the law, and that's where it gets interesting. You have the caps, and you know.
But 21 in hard labor for a 60-year-old.
Well, that's good. It's telling because I mean, he would be 81. You know, barring any. We don't have a parole system here, but barring any exercise of, you know, mercy, that would mean that he would be 81.
May that not be extended to him?
Ah, well. But other stories, the government's unpaid debt to GCNet, West Blue spark trouble. Election 2020, EC prints ballot papers, political parties notified. This one is interesting because the likes of Mary Kofi Ghani are still pursuing the matter. His lawyers have said that they're giving a deadline of the 28th to the Electoral Commission to reinstate him, so to speak, to do what is right by him. So that is this Wednesday, which means that if not, they are proceeding to court. But the Electoral Commission is already proceeding with printing. So quite a bit of...
There's one person who's already in courts.
Who's that?
Oh, there's I'll try and pull his name because I saw the documents over the weekend.
One of those turned down.
Those, yes, one of those, yeah. All right, can I do the Daily Graphic? Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay. All right, let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper. Front page, end fake news. President charges media at Graphic 70th anniversary ball. Graphic sweeps 11 GJ awards. How many did we get? We got 15. 1, 5. Well, I say we got 16.
5, and 5.
We got 16. So congratulations to our friends at the Daily Graphic for grabbing 11 GJ awards this year. Also, high-profile burial service ushers Madam Agutri home. If you want highlights of that, well, it's on page 20 in the paper today. On the back page, Vice President gives 200,000 Ghana cedis to church disaster victims, and NP builds community center for Aquadum. And those are the two stories here on the back page of the paper. The bit about the Vice President giving 200,000 Ghana cedis to church disaster victims, that has to do with the prosperity building at Achim Batebi, that church near Oda in the eastern region that collapsed really. 22 persons died from there, and then we know that the search and rescue mission ended on Friday. Well, lots of questions being asked if you listen to News File. When one of the panelists was recounting the number of buildings that have collapsed, I mean, I was just countless, right? I was like, oh, we've had so many of these incidents in Ghana, and what have we done to stop it? As a big question. And a lot of people saying, oh, this church, we had taken pictures, photos of the building, we had seen it. People predicted that it was going to come down. As to when it was going to happen, well, they couldn't have said it was going to be last Tuesday, but eventually it did. And you kind of ask yourself, so did authorities see that?
That's the question. Did they? And you know, just last week we were talking about that school building somewhere in the Volta region as well.
Yeah, because one
Another
of the papers
waiting
reported on that, yeah.
The custodian this morning says, I've been truthful to Ghanaians, that's according to His Excellency the President. JJ bids salient farewell to Mom. Sami Jemfi leads JM's 2020 campaign with bloated sophomoric humor. That's according to the CVM. And then Mahama attacks Akufo-Addo over free SHS, claims Ken, that is the finance minister, is fooling the IMF rating agencies. Those are some of the stories there.
Let's do the Business and Financial Times. Front page, over 60% CAP-BAS applicants have no bank accounts. So that's a whopping 60% of the 800,000 applicants for the 600 million Ghana cedis coronavirus alleviation program for small business affected by the pandemic. They did not have bank accounts, according to the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, the body tasked with disbursing the funds. Its executive director, Kosi Yankiaye, who disclosed this, said the majority of applicants, particularly the female ones, resorted to using their husbands' and family members' bank or mobile money accounts. This, she added, led to a number of them not receiving their funds because their personal and bank details did not match. Also, Ghana defies FDI, drop predictions, records impressive growth for, is it first half of 2020? So despite projections by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development that global foreign direct investment inflows will decrease by up to 40% in 2020, with their 2019 value of $1.54 trillion, Ghana has seen a more than 400% rise in FDI inflows in the first half of the year. All this attributed to CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. Also on the front page, IMF projects economy won't contract amid pandemic. Fiscal deficit to hit 16.4% of GDP. Other stories of interest, including this one, the Ghana Community Network Limited and West Blue Consulting are pushing government for a total payouts of $300 million due to the abrogation of their ports management contracts. Details of that in the Business and Financial Times.
All right, so let's do the Ghanaian Times.
We've gone through the Times already.
Yeah. It's one of those you've already done. So the Republic newspaper, the Republic Press, and it notes how we have just 42 days more to election 2020. It's amazing how the days are flying.
Yep.
And very soon, the American elections will be on top of us, and then our own.
Oh, yeah.
We just pray for
You know, a ballot box was set on fire in California, right? And as I listened
to that, I've not heard.
As I listened to that story, I was like, wait a minute. And then, you know, they can go around threatening African countries and telling us that if our elections are not free and fair, then they would do so to us.
This particular election, when it comes to the United States, it's going to be very feisty. It's going to be keenly contested. And I think over the weekend, I saw, was it Jennifer Aniston or one of those, you know, casting her ballot ahead of time and talking about the fact that it's not easy to vote for Kanye West. I believe she didn't actually, but it generated a lot of, you know, conversation there. Now, this one says, we'll bring back a Twabo Freeport project. That's according to Mahama. I don't lie, Akufo-Addo tells Ghanaians. Rawlings bids Mom farewell. Those are, and you can check out some photos of that event on the back page of the Republic Press. Let me just quickly wind with the new palaver. And it says, African leaders, this is how the Arab Spring started. Don't let it happen here, especially on the back of what has been happening in Nigeria. A lot of people, you know, just praying. But have you seen that video of Duncan Williams, Archbishop Duncan Williams? And he was actually prophesying that in 2020, you know, countries in the West African sub-region, if they are not careful, they would go the way of the Arab Spring. And some are saying on the back of that and with what has happened in Nigeria, we all should be very
so this
careful.
Is something that he said
This was prior to, you know, the happenings in
the video.
Nigeria. So some people, in fact, that video has been trending a bit and journalists' inability to interpret statistical data worrying. That's according to the Ghana Statistical Service. That's on the back page of the New Palava newspaper.
All right, last paper, and then I'll show you the video of this, of the ballot box, the drop box, they call it, that was set on fire. Well, thankfully, they say the ballots are still legitimate, so they could count and give the vote to the person who people voted for. Well, the Economy Times last paper, government borrows 22.187 billion Ghana cedis from domestic markets. And then the Africa Continental Free Trade Area implementation is being geared into full motion. One of the biggest challenges to the success of the free trade area global is Africa's numerous currencies. So details of that in the paper. Ghana pleads with G20 to extend suspension on debt servicing for 2 years. Also on the front page of the paper. And then if you look at the back page, government's debt to multilateral creditors climbs up. IMF projects higher debt to GDP ratio for Ghana. Ghana's FDI value hit $785 million in half of 2020. All right.
So let's do this.
Another paper?
Nope. So I guess we can start digging into the topical issues. I'll commence with the Daily Guide newspaper and the bit about the Takoradi girls' bones in court. So the story is on page 3. And it says, a second-D High Court hearing the trial of 2 Nigerians who allegedly kidnapped and killed the 4 missing girls in Takoradi has ordered that the skeletal remains retrieved from a septic tank at Kansarodo near Takoradi and confirmed to be that of the missing girls be brought to court. The 7-member jury impaneled for the trial of Samuel Udotek, Wills, and John Oji requested to see the bones of the girls after the head of the pathology department of the police hospital in Accra, Superintendent Dr. Osei Owusu-Efue, testified in the case on Friday as the 19th witness. So the story goes on and on, but with regard to the cross-examination, Mark Bosia of the legal aid representing John Oji asked the pathologist whether his team was able to know the cause of death of the victim. So it still is up in the air a bit with regard to what exactly happened to the girls, whether indeed those are the remains of the 4, Priscilla, the 2 Priscillas, Ruth, and then, so interestingly, there are 2 Priscillas and 2 Ruths, if you go back to the story there. So further developments on the back of that. And you do recall that their families had asked for further testing with regard to, the remains to confirm that those indeed were the remains of their departed ones, assuming they had actually been killed. So we wait to see how this story develops further, Mama V.
Yeah. All right. I want to show you. I think I've shared the stories that I wanted to highlight. The bit about the 2-year-old being defiled. Was it in the Central Region? The 60-year-old who got. Yes, this was in the Central Region. And I remember when I read the story, I thought I would say, well, good job, well done to the police in Mori in the Central Region and to the Central Region Police Command as well. I think they did a very good job. If you look at the timelines with what happened, girl was taken, the issue was reported to the police station. They were issued with a form to go to the hospital. The following day, the man was arrested, taken to court. It was such a speedy process. He pleaded guilty. So, of course, he also made the work a lot easier. And then he got his conviction. So we thank the Central Region Police, the Mori Police as well, because it all started with them. If we can have our police working like this in all the other areas of the country, we will be making great progress. And I thought that the story should also be encouraging to parents. If a child tells you, is able to narrate what they've been through, they've been defiled or they've been raped, you should make a report to the police. Was Dofsu, I think, that unit that handled the case. So I thought that we would highlight it and say thank you to the police in the Central Region. If there's another story in any of the papers?
Yes, another one I want to look at briefly. The Ghanaian Times newspaper, and it's because this actually is right down our alley as media people. And on page 17, it says, journalists must uphold ethics and principles to promote nation building, peace and security. And that's the Chief Justice saying that. He has actually called for enhanced professionalism in the media landscape to safeguard and promote the country's democracy in the build-up to this year's general elections. According to him, the media's role, the development of Ghana could not be overemphasized, noting that journalists have a responsibility to help the government in improving the lives of citizens. Of course, this was at the 25th GJA Awards in Accra on Saturday. So quite an interesting bit there to look at. But I'm also hoping that even as they do this and ahead of election 2020, media people too are given the protection we need. We've all seen in the past what has happened to some journalists, and we pray that we'll also be protected even as we go about our work. Absolutely. Let's see what's on myjournline.com, but whilst we get ready for that, Director Yao, if the video of the ballot box is ready, we can show it to our viewers. I'm not sure a lot of people know about that story. With their own exercise as well. And then they talk about us and put us on notice and threaten sanction and stuff like that. I mean, I pray we'll get to that level where we can also sanction them. From opaque boxes in 92 thereabouts to what we have now. I think we've come a long way. Yeah, we have. There's so much to celebrate. Actually. Yeah, exactly. So we're proud of what we have achieved. And, you know, the West shouldn't come and talk to us as if they don't have issues. They have issues. They do. Yeah. They do. Let's see what's on myjournline.com before we bring you sports. Ben? Okay, so let's do this. NDC and MPP supporters in Jamestown clash after Pete's walk. I'll be bringing you more on that as I hit the Ododo constituency today. Then there's also this one, Multimedia Group Samson Ladi Anyenene is 2019 GJA Journalist of the Year. Full list of 64 award winners. You can check them out there. There's also opposition teachers political parties lessons in humility. Sam Kranche Ankra saying that. Also check out Asempa FM's Ekosi Sen adjudged political program of the year at the 25th GJA Awards. Our own man OB. And more details on myjoyonline.com. If we can just, I believe that is all that we have there. But Auntie Vic was a strict and uncompromising disciplinarian. Rawlings's tribute to his mother. So those are some of the stories on myjoyonline.com. Many more that you can check out when you hit that page. All right, with some 30 seconds left, let's just give you the updates on the NSAS situation. And I'm reading this from the BBC. It says that the hashtag NSAS campaigners who are protesting against police brutality in Nigeria have now started the process of electing leaders and advisors. Okay, so right before we wrap up, I just want to wish a very happy birthday to my uncle, Anthony Kwame, the youngster of the Youngster cluster of schools. He's 85 today. I just want to say happy birthday to you, long life, prosperity, and God bless you. So that's it. It's a wrap for the news review. Uncle the Youngster, happy birthday to you. Enjoy the day today. We should be able to give you, I don't know, maybe what? We should plan something. Lunch, but you should cook for him. There's mass this morning. We're all Catholic, so I'll be at mass with him at 9. Nice. We'll celebrate him. Enjoy your birthday, sir. Stay with us. We'll bring you highlights of what you missed over the weekend in sports with Oreko Ampofo. Stay with us.
But let's move to tennis now, where despite no top seed participating, the finals of the Magdan, Tennis Training Foundation did actually go pretty well, as we did witness some fireworks with Johnson Aqua and the likes also coming out on top in their game.
On Saturday, the professional category of the Magdan Foundation tennis training matches came to an end. Men's and women's single top seeds, Jeffet Bagabase and Yvonne Bruce Tego, were both eliminated in the semi-finals of the tournament, but the finals did not lack any dosage of quality. Finalists Chika Macaulay and Mariana Ibrahim, together with Johnson Aqua and Benjamin Fumi of the women and men's singles respectively, produced spectacles of a final. In the women's final, Mariana Ibrahim broke Chika's lead to take a 6-3 win after the first set, And while Shika broke the early lead of Mariana in the second set, that was not enough to stop Mariana from winning the second set also. Mariana ended up winning the final 6-3, 6-3 after 2 straight sets. Speaking after her victory, Mariana Ibrahim stated it was a determination, irrespective of opponent quality, that won her the tournament.
It wasn't an easy journey at all because all the players were good, in fact, good players, but I tried my best to get to the finals. And the lady I met, Shika Macaulay, she is also an excellent player because she's one of the national players. So she also tried very hard to play, but I also tried my best to play and win.
The men's singles final was also not short of any form of drama, as both finalists pushed each other to wits' end. However, the late rally from Benjamin Fumi was not enough to stop Johnson Aqua from winning 6-1, 6-4 in 2 straight sets. Johnson, after the game, indicated there's more to come from him.
I'm going to win more tournaments this year because this is the 5th time I've played finals and I've won 3 times and I've lost twice.
The tournament resumes next week with players in the underage groups battling it out in games that will serve as scouting reports for the youth tennis teams.
A Hotline documentary last year produced by my colleague Albert, that won the Human Rights Reporting category in this year's GJ Awards, the 25th GJ Awards. He's here in the studio. Albert, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And that's the GJ Journalist of the Year, Samson Ladi Ayenini. I didn't think I'll see you in the studio this morning.
Yes, I was not able to come to the studio. We had arranged that I will be speaking on Zoom.
Yes.
Because as you can see, I'm heading to court. But I took a decision that, okay, why not? I stop here and then afterwards I head to court. Right.
So I wanted to ask you this question. Tell us the story that specifically brought you into this area of journalism, because a lot of people know you as a lawyer.
Okay, so like I said on the night, I didn't set out to do this job, like be a journalist, not at all. After leaving University of Ghana, I finished my undergraduate program in the 2002-2003 academic year, and Charles Van Dyke here at Joy FM Multimedia. Was around the campus sometime in 2001. And I was doing a program as a student leader. And he approached me and said, would you like to do radio? I said, well, I haven't thought of it. You know, I'm thinking something. I have my mind on law. I have my mind on international diplomacy, you know. So I started thinking about the idea, and when I was done, he said, do you want to come and do your service? So that's how I started. I agreed, and even though National Service had posted me to a school in Konongo, I was eventually, you know, sorted out to be at Love FM. So that's how I started, and what I must confess got me to stay at the very start, to make a decision that this is good to do, was that 6 months into my national service, the BBC gave me a job. And you would know that that meant something, looking at my financial background at the time. So it was an easy decision to take. So whilst I now thought more deeply that I could do this, and having done it for a while, I felt there was something about journalism. I felt it was such a powerful tool to do the work of God. And if you have come to know my background, I was your typical Crife guy on campus, doing a lot of the scripture union work and so on. So I felt, why not? That's good. When I got to Love FM, I told Jimmy Agla, who is now the manager there, they wanted me to get into the newsroom and do stuff. I said, no, I play gospel every day of my life.
can I do a gospel show? So relax, we are not there yet. There are people who host those shows, so relax. So I did the news for a while, and then he asked me, would you want to try that one? I said, why not? Once I had gotten used to the console, so I started presenting gospel show, and then here we are. I pursued my LLB, as in the law degree, and then eventually came back to Accra as a senior journalist, and then to editor. And then once I got called to the bar to start work as a lawyer, I was in a firm, Gates Venice Hughes, where it was very busy, very, very busy. I had too much work to do. So I just said, look, this is the end of the road for me as a journalist, so quit. So I resigned. Then...
so which year was this?
I was actually supposed to have left right after the 2012 elections.
Okay.
Yeah, but I stayed on for just a month or two after. Yeah, and then I left. Then I was asked to come and do Newsfile. So I kept to doing Newsfile. So this is how far I've come. And I have come to see journalists as the most powerful tool that needs to hold the scales, particularly in poverty-stricken African countries, where the duopoly, as in the two political parties, have an arrangement which almost deprives the people of the best quality of life. And that's why we are constructing the roads almost every 2 years, 3 years. It makes absolutely no sense that we sink a lot of money into projects and the rain comes and it washes the roads away. So the reason I still stay in the job is because I can make that kind of impact.
Great. I want to come to you, Albert. So you filed this for the awards. This was a hotline documentary you did in 2019, but you did other stories in 2019. So why did you put in this particular documentary?
I think this one was one of the best jobs I did in 2019. I had filed a number of stories which were good enough. But, you know, with the GJA, you are limited to submitting just about 2 stories. A maximum of 2 in each category, and a total of 2 categories, you know. So I selected this one, and then one other series I did on the One Village, One Dam, which, you know, I submitted for the agric reporting category. So, yeah, this one was the one that won the award.
You know, usually we talk on Zoom.
Yeah.
But anytime you've had to come here, it's because of an award.
I think so.
Yeah,
the last time I was here was in 2017 when at the West Africa Media Conference, an awards program. There was an SDGs reporting category, which I also submitted a story, which won me the second prize. You know, so
yeah. Let's talk about your base, because you're obviously not here in Accra. Tell us where you report from, the peculiar circumstances under which you've had to do your job over the years.
When I started working for Joy FM in 2011, right after school, at the time they hadn't started Joy News, so the work was all about looking for news where it was, or anytime something was breaking, you had to go there. But immediately after I left school, I did attachment with a TV station. So I liked the TV work. So when Joy News started and they wanted me to double and do the TV work, what I started looking for was for peculiar stories in the Upper East region. And in my region, you have situations where people, you know, some people are suffering. There are a lot of human interest stories, you know. So one of the things that I wanted to do was to tell stories about the Upper East region as much as possible. So I started doing a lot of features from time to time, and I realized that people were responding positively to my features, so I just stuck with that. So what I do is, as much as possible every year, if I can produce one documentary, I do it, but if I can't, I do a lot of long news features as much as possible.
Yeah, and you do great with that. Thank you, though. 2 weeks ago, you gave us a very touching story of a couple adopting children from mentally challenged parents. And when I did that interaction with them live on the show, I mean, it had an impact on me directly. So thank you for what you do. Samson, you've had a way of merging journalism with the law, and you even have a show which is strictly law, really, on television every Sunday. How have you done it over the years, trying to merge as you came back, your second coming to journalism?
Okay, so I must confess, I don't know how I do it, but somehow God gets me waking up and just doing it, because I have a very busy life as a lawyer. That one, it's really busy. And yet, to be able to host that platform, Newsfile, you must tune in, you must be tuned in to what goes on in the country. So almost every day, what it means is that you must be up to speed with what is going on. People who are affected by some of the stories, particularly political actors or government or appointees, public office holders, will want to grab hold of you and explain or get you to appreciate their story, because there's a story about them or about their ministry or about their work, and that can take a lot. But again, like the law show, sometimes my wife produces me. Okay, so I'm fortunate to have a wife who is a lawyer. So all I need is, I say, I'm treating this subject this week, and
do you pay her as a producer?
What can you do? I think the pay the pay is reflected in what we share commonly. Yeah. So sometimes she will do the production, and she just drops me the research work, and I read over it. And again, in my law firm, we are 5 lawyers. I have juniors who are very good. So once in a while, I can ask one of them, can you look up this subject for me? So they will do the research work, go through the various laws you need to know, the various legal authorities that the courts have, pronounced on the specific subject. So it makes it also a lot easier. Yeah, but I must do much of the work. Doing my take, for example, is not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I have now titled Ayenini Legal Light, because I have to take a situation that is current in the country, and then look at the legal angle of it to seek to educate people. So if people are talking about contempt and they don't seem to really appreciate what is going on in the courtroom, then I have to do that. And when I'm doing that, it means if you're talking law, there are how many lawyers in the country? And there are very good lawyers around town. So you must be sure what you're doing is uptight, if you like. So that means the things I know, there are times I can wake up in the morning because I have been very busy the whole Friday preparing for Newsfile. So I wake up in the morning, it's in the morning that I get ready to come to Newsfile that I write the take. And it may come easy. Sometimes I may have to do a whole lot of research and put it together in a way that the ordinary person can appreciate. So it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of work, but it does not affect my work as a lawyer, I only dedicate Fridays to sit and go through all that I need to go through as far as, documentations and, everything that I need to do for the show is concerned. But I'm tuned in every day. Of course, around this time, I would have watched your show, and then if time is up for us to go to court, then we move out. But as you would know, often I'm watching your show.
Yes, sir.
Right.
I'll come to some of the interesting stories with Newsfile over the years, because you've handled this for a very long time, really. Right. You've been on the show for a very long time.
So I came to Accra to join the news team here in 2008, just when I was entering the law school. So I was given the opportunity to host 1 or 2 programs. We were doing Ghana Decides, Cal to 4. Then subsequently, Akwesi Sapong had to leave for the BBC. And Kofi also said, you have to do the news file. Truth be told, I pleaded to be not to be made to sit in there for some other reasons, but I had to start it. So I did news file for a while, and then I stayed back, and that was a personal reason. I needed to stay back for a while, particularly doing this job with law school. It's not easy. And I was editing for Joy News can be crazy, very crazy. And I was the afternoon shift person. Editor. I go to law school, then I come back, I come to Joy in the afternoon, I do my work, I'll leave the newsroom about 11, 12 and drive all the way to Rees Junction, if you know Adenta area. So that was quite a lot, yes, but I've tried to do the best I can in the circumstance.
I see Albert nodding. Albert, I mean, that's our senior. Is there anything that you want to ask him?
Coincidentally, when I was schooling at the AUCC, I was living in this hostel. He probably doesn't remember when you were, I think, in the final phases of your law school. You had to perch at the hostel for a while. So, it was a very...
so I had a
not
home.
so nice place, but
I had a home.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. You don't need to mention the hostel. This is a hostel in the middle of, if you like, Rollins Park area.
Okay.
Look at it that way. All right. And sometimes the stench that can come out of places to that place was very terrible. And I had a home, but the study of the law can be crazy. So I felt I needed to do away with the comfort at home. So I actually went and paid for that hostel. And I think
so you could be closer to school?
Yes, very close to school, but put me in a situation where I don't come home and I feel like putting on the TV, put on radio, or do all these other things. Or some friends want to visit and all of that. You are in a hostel where you are sleeping on a bunk bed, 4 people or more.
Did you share a room with him?
No, but one of my close friends at the hostel lived in his room. So I was always in the room most of the time. I didn't know that our paths will cross eventually. I look at him today and having to live in a place like that to achieve what he has achieved today. And, I'm just inspired. And for people like us, we look up to him, So that's what I just wanted to say.
Thanks for those kind words.
Albert, I think I ask you this question each time something of this nature comes up. What are you going to be doing from here?
I'll go back home. And I'll continue with telling stories from the Upper East region. Because of the nature of my stories, I tend to get a lot of calls because of similar stories. So I'll continue with that. I have a private multimedia business that I run on the side.
Okay, great.
Which, you know, I do videos. I have clients I do videos for and all of that. So I'll continue with that, and, you know, I'll go to school some more.
Yeah. Have they called you on this award? The people in your hometown?
Of course, a lot of people are calling me and, you know, sending me messages on Facebook, on WhatsApp, because this is not actually the first time I have filed for a GGA award. I've been filing since 2016, and this is the first one I have won. So normally, yes, I won the regional one. I won one award at the regional awards last year, but this is the first one I've won at the national level. So people usually would ask when the GGA awards come and go and I don't win, they're asking what is happening. So for a lot of people, they're happy for me that I finally...
So there will be a party when you get back home?
I'm not much of a party person, but I'm sure I'll sit with a few friends to celebrate. Yeah.
Let's speak to another colleague of ours, Nancy Mafajradosi, sanitation and hygiene reporting. That category she won following her exploits on the Joy Clean Ghana campaign. Nancy Mafajradosi, good morning to you. Let's see your beautiful face.
Hi, Mama V, good morning.
Well, have you been screaming?
Hi, Mama V, good morning.
You've lost your voice there.
I had a little cold, so I lost my voice. I lost my voice yesterday, but I'm good.
Nice. Tell us about this category. I remember Joy Clean Ghana campaign because you were reporting on the AM show every Wednesday when you stepped out with the AMA. But just a reminder for those who are watching, maybe for the first time, tell us about the Joy Clean Ghana campaign.
All right, so the Joy Clean Ghana campaign started in September last year to December 2019. Basically, what we're doing was going around with environmental health officers. So we had Mr. Asitanga, and also we had Madam Florence Kuchi, who was the Director of Public Health at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. So we were going to various places. We went to homes, we went to eateries, we went to schools, just to find out the sanitation situation there and do more of education. And throughout the period, Mama, we were able to achieve a lot of things. We were able to, at least the Tuesday markets, I really remember, we went back 2-3 weeks later, and the situation in the markets had improved, and so that was a big feat that we achieved. We also had people, go to homes and they've been able to put on new toilet facilities because some people were still using the old one that had been banned. And so, I mean, the Joy Clean Ghana campaign was a major thing, and I think we achieved a lot throughout the process.
Yeah, Nancy, this is. How do I even put it? Because should I tell the people that you're on a different course, something else is happening because they haven't seen you in a very long time? Do you want to tell them where you've been? Otherwise, let me change the question if you're not comfortable with that.
I am. I think after Saturday's event, I had a lot of people asking me where I've been. Because it's been a while they heard my voice on radio and seen me on TV. So I think this is a good opportunity to maybe say it. But I mean, during my time here, somewhere in June, I applied for a fellowship, a journalism fellowship with Massey College, which is also part of the University of Toronto. And I was picked to do this fellowship. And so I'm actually on a steady leave. And I'm hoping that I'll come back and continue the Joy Clean Ghana campaign.
We're waiting for you, but stay with us because I'm going to ask something. What are some of the most interesting people that you've interacted with on Newsfile?
It's a really difficult question. I have had on Newsfile to ask people to walk off the set. They are told the ground rules. Don't unnecessarily interject. Don't unnecessarily heckle. And some people just can't cope. And to make sure that we are keeping the standards and knowing that people who watch and listen to Newsfile and knowing that You have millions, literally millions, home and abroad, tuned into that show. You must exercise that responsibility. So, I won't mention names, but if you have been following, you will know that I've had to deal with some really very difficult people.
Yeah.
And very recently, the encounter with one such person, you have the documents that say one thing, and the person is trying to dispute but doesn't have any fact to back what he's trying to dispute. And they put you in such a difficult situation as a host. You're telling them what you're talking about is completely baseless. I mean, and that's being really charitable with words. And they insist. They insist. You ask them, show us a scintilla of proof, and they don't have. They just want to talk. So sometimes it can be really difficult. And, you know, I've had to, on the show also, say that there are these two particular individuals that I literally blacklisted on the show. The show is not mine. It belongs to multimedia, but I'm the face of the show. My production does a great job for me to be able to host that show and have a successful show. But guess what? Everything that happens, I take the praise, and when things go wrong, I am the one that is slaughtered around town. Okay, particularly because you are hosting people that belong to political parties. All their members will come at you. They will skin you. And so, you know, I'm dealing with a lot of people, and I have to tell myself, we have to keep to the standard. So there are two people I blacklisted, and I said, I don't own the show, but all I can do is that if you ever decided to bring them, because I don't decide who comes on the show, if you ever decided to bring this person, that day I won't host the show. End of story. Find your host. And we are too many people, very good guys in multimedia, who can host the show. In fact, to be very frank, I'm looking at the time you will host that show.
Ah! Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, very, very frank.
Ooh,
because,
that's a huge challenge.
No, it's not. No, don't say that. Because there have been times I have suggested, for example, that why don't we do today, just have a lady host the show.
Ooh.
And it's a show that you haven't had ladies host. Matilda Sante did it for just 1 year, and not even that. Oftentimes she wasn't available, so I had to host it. Kuku Sechiado did the same thing right around the time. I like to have women on the show, and I try. My producers, every day we fight. I'm like, where is the woman? 3 guys, 4 guys.
Yeah.
Where are the women? Meanwhile, we have a population that is more women than men. And if it comes to shaping the views of the people for elections, the registration we just did has revealed that we have more women going to the polls than men. So if it will take, you know, a woman hosted, I'll be so happy.
I'll start training. I should be coming every Saturday so I can learn from you. So Albert, what's the latest piece that you're working on right now? Are you working on any hotline?
I traveled to Ouagadougou earlier in the week to do a story about Ghanaian traders who are exporting plantain to that part of Africa.
Plantain?
Yes, to Burkina Faso.
Okay.
You know. And the story is that in Burkina Faso, they don't grow plantain because of their climate. So they buy from Ghana, they buy from Ivory Coast. Now, Ghanaians have to take the advantage and send our plantain there, sell for them and all of that. But there are some challenges. So that's the story. Let me not give too much of it.
I see that you're eyeing this agri category, so
it's coincidence. Sometimes, just like I was saying, because people watch the stories you do, opportunities like this come and they ask you that, you know, we think you are the person to go and do it. So,
So let me ask, who inspires you?
A lot of people. When I came to Joy FM, I watched a lot of people. But let me say that the person who taught me how to write my first lead was Jojo Kobna.
Oh, okay.
And I met Jojo at TV3 then when I had just finished school and I was doing internship there. When I went there, I told them I'm coming to do the internship because I want to go home and be your correspondent. So they asked me to work with Jojo because of the kind of stories he did. So I would say that Jojo was the first person who inspired me. Okay. I watched people like Justice Beidou, you know, and a host of other people, you know. And I watched the BBC and CNN a lot, and I pick a lot of cues from them. So along the line, I had to also teach myself how to edit, how to shoot, because as a correspondent, sometimes you have to work all by yourself. So I would say that the journey has been interesting, I would say. And when I look back, I realized that over the time, I've managed to teach a lot of things that, you know, I didn't learn from school, I didn't learn from anybody else. I just use YouTube videos, internet search, try and error, and there are a lot of things I can do for myself today.
Great, good to know. Nancy, let me ask, who inspires you?
Mama, so I remember growing up, I used to really watch Oprah, the Oprah Winfrey Show.
Okay.
And yes, and that is someone that I really look up to in terms of interviewing, telling stories of people. And then I realized that I found myself in this kind of reporting and telling stories in this way. But I mean, in Ghana, I look up to a lot of people. I mean, growing up, Mama V, I watched you host Today's Woman. I saw a lot of news readers. Emma Morrison, who had a huge impact on my journalism career. And so those are the few people that I look up to, and I'm hoping to do better than them.
Nice. I like that. Let me ask something, and then I've got a last one to ask you just before you leave us, Nancy. Something, who are the people that have inspired you? History today.
Right. I watch Wolf.
Okay.
Wolf Blitzer.
CNS.
I watch him a lot, and I mean a lot. I know at their end, they have tools that make what they do a lot more easier. You know, so that's fine, but they must be people of metal. They must know what they are doing. So if Wolf had to interview a president, he'll interview them at a certain level, not at the level of I am a small journalist somewhere and quote unquote unnecessary reverence that buries the critical questions that must be asked. And so I followed Larry King big time, read his book that he wrote about this job. But back home in Ghana, some guys made the biggest impact on my life. And the very first is Kweku Sechiado. And Kweku Sechiado mentored me without knowing, because, I mean, I'll listen to Front Page and I won't miss it for anything. I'll join Newsfile then. Never thought that I would be the one hosting it, you know. And then I had the opportunity of having to be practically and physically mentored by Kweku when the BBC opportunity came, and the BBC opportunity was through him. Okay, he's the one who recommended me for that job. And then thereafter, you know, we are all working and we put our stories into the same pool. So I am doing a story in Kumasi, and it's a story that must have a national appeal, represent what is in Ghana. You don't have to be in Accra to do what is about Ghana. So I do, and I put it in the pool, and I know that Kweku would have done something and also put in the pool. So there's a pool, and I have an opportunity to check up what he's done. And I listen to his stuff. You know, he does his journalism very careful about the choice of words, the words he uses. Very, very careful about the words he uses. So I will read him and try to, if you like, copy.
Okay.
Just that the situations will change.
Yeah.
Right. So Kweku, you know, formidable impact on my journalism, you know, journey. There are a few others, more particularly PVA and who I never met.
And then the category of the award?
That I got to win, who I never met.
Okay.
You know, and all I can learn from him is reading what he wrote. And his collections have been put together in a book, Going to Town. I read him and I tell myself, okay, so I can literally read each of his takes on my show as my take, and they'll be relevant as they were many years ago when he wrote them. And look, he was this plain talking critical guy. It doesn't matter who you are or what the story is about. He will tell it just as it is. And he won't be bothered about the use of words. If what you have done is plain stupid and you are president, he will say that is what it is. You know, because look, we see a lot of foolhardy stuff being done by politicians who ought to know, by holders of public offices who ought to know very basic elementary mistakes that they make. And you have to say it politely. Why? Yeah, so he too has had an impact on me.
Nice.
And Cabral Blay Amehe, formidable. Right.
Great people you've mentioned. Albert, I want to ask you and Nancy. Nancy, if you're still with us, what kind of advice would you give to any young person, or any person for that matter, who wants to consider television journalism?
I think that first you should know if you have the natural gift, first of all, because I am somebody who ended up in a science class when I shouldn't have been. So I know how
You're not
it is
alone.
like.
I did science too.
You know, so I know how it is like to be in a place that you know, you shouldn't be in. So first of all, you should, you know within yourself that this is something I can do. And then the important thing is to never give up, no matter what people say, no matter how people tell you that you cannot do it. Because before I went to journalism school, one of my uncles sat me down and gave me every reason that he thought I shouldn't be going, because you are from a humble background. The school you are going to is not a school for humble people who are from the north. Therefore, it's a school for rich people, kids of rich people who are in Accra and all of that. He was just trying to let me see the reality of what I was doing. So I don't blame him, but I didn't let what he told stop me. I took his advice, but then I went on to do what I thought was best for me. And so the important thing is to never give up on yourself, no matter the circumstance. You just be patient with yourself.
When he sees
keep
you
trying to
telling your story on television,
he tells me he's happy I never gave. He was one of the people who sent me a message, and you know, sometimes we laugh about it, because he keeps telling me, you know, I tried to tell you that this was not a place to venture into, because we expect you to finish school as soon as possible, get a job, help the family out and all of that. And I'm happy you didn't, you know, listen.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's
not a career for the rich, or for the rich kids.
Yeah. So it's a lot of things that come your way when people try to tell you that in Ghana, you have to be connected in a certain way. You have to have a certain advantage in some way before you venture into certain areas. But you just have to, take it step by step.
Yeah.
You get the opportunity to learn from people, ask so many questions. There are times I still call Jojo to ask his opinion on certain stories. Sometimes he calls me to tell me stories he thinks I should do. I learn from Justice a lot because he comes to my region to tell stories. And these are people that do their stories the way I also want to do them. So I learn from them, and I try to teach myself as much as possible.
Great.
I go on the internet and I learn a lot. So what I would say, back to your question, is that learn as much as you can. Teach yourself as much as you can, and be patient with yourself.
Great. Nancy?
Hi, Mama. I think that one thing that I believe in is that if you identify that this is what you want to do, you need to work on it, and it's a gradual process. One thing I've realized is that now a lot of people want to come into the media because they want to be on TV and they want to be celebrities and all, but it's a process. I mean, when I started, I didn't even think that I'll be on TV or I'll be on radio. I just wanted to tell the story. I just wanted to, go through the natural way, go through the process as it is. And here I am today. So patience is very important. And also try and learn all the time, because you can't know everything. You have to read, you have to watch documentaries, you have to listen to people. When you are being corrected, you take it. And all of these things to be a better person.
Great. Well, Nancy, we wish you well with the studies, and hopefully we will see you very soon and hear you on radio as well.
Yes.
Nancy Emefajra-Dosi, an award-winning journalist, proudly my colleague there. Well, Samson, thank you so much. Journalist of the Year. There was another category on democracy as well. Listen.
Democracy and peace building.
Yeah, you've done a lot, and I am happy that on a national level it's been recognized. So we're happy that you're Journalist of the Year. It's a perfect 25th anniversary gift for us as here at
what a
Multimedia.
coincidence. Yeah, and I almost said that on the night. Yeah.
Albert, I am always very proud of you. So congratulations on this award.
Thank you very much.
And may many more come in the future. Samson's take from next week is going to be on the electoral offenses you mentioned.
Yes.
And I said to myself when I heard you that we will put it in the form of graphics so we can share on the air show.
You
so watch out for that.
You tried to do that for me once, and that was so good, but unfortunately we couldn't keep up with it.
Yes.
There were times you needed the script early enough, and sometimes, it must come like you want to write music.
Yeah.
It must flow. So when you are tasking me, that's something I wanted by Thursday, and the thing has not come. Just,
Yeah,
so
I
just have to wait. Yeah.
And I'll wait for you to deliver it on Newsfile, and then we'll come and share it on the AM show.
All right,
Very useful around this period when the election is just around the corner. Thank you, Samson.
Thank you,
Albert, and thanks to Nancy. Now, let's talk about the SET challenge. My guest in the studio is Dr. Benedicta Ohene Menu, Global President, Hele Africa Foundation. A very good morning to you. Thank you for being here.
Good morning to. Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us about the Hele Foundation first of all? Let's learn a bit about it.
All right. So Hele is called Hele Africa Foundation. So HELEH, and it's an acronym, and it stands for the Health Evolution and Lifestyle Empowerment Hub Africa. So we are a Pan-African NGO, and we seek to complement the efforts and achievements of government, stakeholders with regards to health, caregivers, quality healthcare crusaders, institutions, philanthropists across Africa to provide quality, affordable healthcare for Africans in Africa.
Okay. All right. So I guess it's out of this that we have the SET challenge.
Exactly.
Okay. What's it about exactly?
Okay. So when we talk about the SET challenge, it's a global corporate social media campaign. So SET is also an acronym. So the S stands for Say No to Stigmatization and Discrimination Against COVID-19 Survivors. Then the C stands for Celebration of COVID-19 survivors, or I call them COVID-19 heroes. Then E stands for empower frontline workers, not just the health frontline workers, but also the media frontliners and teachers, security frontline workers. And then D stands for demonstrate the various COVID-19 preventative protocols, and then also to donate towards the fight against COVID-19, especially to the less privileged in the society and also individuals who were mostly affected during this pandemic. So it's in a form of a 1 to 2 minute video where you demonstrate all that I said, and it's being spearheaded by Hele Africa Foundation, which happens to be the health arm of the BHEC NGO Alliance.
Okay, so now I want you to also help us appreciate the BHEC NGO. Okay, so
as I said earlier, Hele Africa is the health arm of the BHEC NGO Alliance. So BHEC is a consortium of 4 NGOs. So it's an NGO with 4 arms, and it's also an acronym. So B stands for Brand Ambassador Africa Foundation.
Okay.
Then the HE stands for the Hele Africa Foundation. And then the C stands for Cyanide Africa. And then K stands for Kiambamu. So there are different NGOs which does different things.
Okay.
But Hele Africa is the health arm of the whole consortium.
Okay, so and this challenge falls directly under Hele Africa because it's health related.
Exactly.
Okay. So how long since this challenge have people been sending in those videos?
Exactly. So the challenge was it's in phases. So it started with the first phase where the NGO, which is Hele Africa, donated to the COVID-19 Trust Fund, National Trust Fund. That was phase 1. And then phase 2 was the launch of the said challenge. It was launched way back in July, that's July 16, 2020, at the Ministry of Information Conference Hall, where we had lots of people patronizing it. And then now it's gotten to phase 3, which involves the videos. So we have lots of dignitaries participating in this challenge, including the, what do you call it, Dr. Insia Sari, that's the presidential advisor on health to the president. Other
as in he participated in the challenge?
Yes, he participated in the challenge. In fact, his videos is on your TV.
Okay.
And then other individuals, including some actors, some members of the diaspora. And then phase 4 involves the launch of the app, where everybody else can download the app and participate in the challenge.
Oh, okay. Is that part of the COV week?
Exactly, that's part of the COV week. So the COV week, when we talk about the COV week, it's a 1 week long campaign involving all the NGOs, not just the health arm, but all the NGOs. And it also to commemorate, I think 19th of December will be like 1 year since this whole coronavirus broke out from China. Yeah, so we're doing something to commemorate all that, and that is the COV week. So it's a 1 week long campaign.
Okay.
And then it starts on Friday, the 27th of November to Saturday, the 5th of December.
Okay.
So it's a whole 1 week activity. So on the Friday, which is the 27th of December, the whole NGO, that's a consortium of NGO, what we're doing is that we are having a special, what we call COVID-19 Memorial Candlelight Derby.
Okay.
So we're having a derby in the evening just to pay tribute to all the individuals who succumbed to the virus. I know in Ghana, the toll was around, or is currently more than 300
so
individuals.
It's still pretty much less than 500, but those are lives that we've lost.
312 or something, I'm not too sure, who have succumbed to the virus. Yeah, so during that day, we're paying tribute to them, a semi-virtual in nature, where people will bring their tributes, they will lay wreaths, and then just to remember those who died, especially the frontline workers who succumbed during their line of work.
Okay.
And then the following day, which is the 28th, marks the Special Hele Africa Awards. And this awards is geared towards COVID-19. I mean, Hele Africa has been embarking on some awards in the past, but this one is just geared towards COVID-19. So during this awards, we'll be honoring frontline workers, we'll be honoring institutions which contributed in the fight against COVID-19, research centers, and then there will also be a posthumous part of the award where frontline workers, not just doctors, but frontline workers, I hear there are 9 in all, who succumbed to the virus during their line of duty. So that's what the awards is all about.
Okay.
So that's on the Saturday. And then on the Tuesday, which is 1st December, which happens to be World AIDS Day, on that day we're having a symposium, and it's a symposium on HIV and COVID-19. Yeah, so we'll also be holding that as part of the week activities. And then on the Thursday, I think the 3rd of December, we'll have a concert, a musical concert.
Okay.
Yes, and it's going to be in such a way that all the proceeds from the concert is going to be given to children living with HIV or children who have been orphaned because their parents had HIV. Yes, and then the climax is the Saturday, which is a special brand ambassador awards.
Okay.
For brands across Africa.
Okay, great.
So that's in summary the 1 week COVID week celebration.
Okay. So can the people watching us right now take part in any of these activities?
Exactly. They can, yes, they can take part in any of those activities. But when it comes to the awards, that's the Brand Ambassador Awards and then the Hele Africa Awards, those ones are strictly by invitation. But the other activities like the symposium and then also the COVID-19 candlelight dinner, they can visit our website and then take part in it.
Okay. Is the challenge over though?
No, it's
because you talk about the time has come so you can download the app and then take part in the challenge. Did I hear you say that?
No, what I said was that they are in phases.
Okay.
So currently we're at the 3rd phase where we have dignitaries participating in the app and participating in the challenge and throwing the challenge to their compares. But the next phase is when the app will finally
ordinary people like us can also take part.
Yes.
When is that going to happen?
Very soon.
Okay, all right. So aside it being a major collaborated initiative among the Alliance arms, are there any institutions associated?
Yes, we're in partnership with Ghana Red Cross Society and then also Oxfam in Ghana, then the Ministry of Health, and then Ghana Health Service.
Okay.
And I also want to add something. One may ask, why are we doing all this, especially when COVID-19 is somehow dwindling and then the number of deaths are reducing? But it's still of relevance, and we deemed it fit to still make noise about it, because the Bible says that he who is standing should be careful he does not fall. So during this period where things are lax and then the restrictions are also easing, we want to still hammer it home so that people don't get complacent. Then also, you know that we're in an election era and a lot of people are embarking on their campaigns and their rallies, and it's possible that people may forget and still be complacent, especially with the social gathering and the rest. So we just want people to be careful. Borders have started opening, that's the airports, and children are also going to school. I mean, the basic education is still ongoing. So we just want to also let people be aware. And Christmas is also around the corner, and there will be a lot of buying and selling, a lot of merrymaking and activities. So we deem the fact that it's still of relevance, and we want people to still not forget that the virus has not yet been completely eliminated.
Absolutely. It's very important because, you know, where there are stories and people are talking about a second wave even in Ghana. As we've seen, there's a surge outside, Ghana, in Europe, in the US. And so we have to be careful. That's why what you're doing is still absolutely relevant. But is there a website that people can go to and learn more about these things?
There is a website, www.heleafrica.org.
Okay. Yes. www.hele, and Hele is HELEH, Africa.org.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
You're most welcome.
Okay. Stay with us. When we come back, we're talking about the Joy ballot box.
Joy News for this great opportunity. I've been looking forward to this opportunity to ask my MP certain questions.
And who's your MP?
Honorable Mahama Ayariga.
Go ahead and ask your question.
Honorable Mahama Ayariga, you have been one of the key persons in the NDC government. You have been the government spokesperson. You have been the Minister for Education, Science and Sports. A lot. You have held so many positions. Now, when we look at Boku, the name of Boku looks bigger than the town itself. When you look at the inner city roads, very bad. You can't take at least 3 steps without a pothole. You have been in government. What are the 3 key things you have done to the people of Boku that you expect us to still vote for you to go back to Parliament? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And so I'm getting to you, Honorable Mahama Ayariga.
My tenure as Member of Parliament and as a Minister of State, my focus in lobbying was to get the Boku-Bolgatanga road constructed. And in 2016, we finally succeeded, and President John Dramani Mahama, God Gadvao, set up to do the Bolga-Boku and added Pulmokum road, and the project is ongoing, as you can see.
Hold on. Yes, my lady, what is the issue?
Yes, he said the road.
Yes.
I mean the Boku Boga Pulmakum road. He lobbied for it. We also commissioning of the road twice, but nothing ever happened until the NPP came into Parliament. That was where something really started happening. Yes, that was it. That was it.
Hold on. Yes, that issue. What do you allow? Hold on. All of you hold on. Yes. The police is ensuring. Please hold on, all of you.
Yeah, and it did get heated at some points. Winston Yamwa, who was trying to calm matters down, is here in the studio. We're going to be talking about the Joy ballot box. A review, if you like, of what happened last Friday. Deputy Head of our political desk is here. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Mama V.
You managed the situation quite well, but these are constituents who follow their representatives. And that young lady was trying to remind Mahama Ayariga that he had been there, he had been very close to authority, and yet they were still facing challenges. I like the question of, tell me 3 things that you did. But, you know, you can add that, and in terms of that specifically, I want to ask how you were able to resolve it, because it got heated.
Well, you know, you're right, it got heated at a point, because when she came back with the, follow-up, some persons had wanted to be given an opportunity to ask a question. But again, like I insisted, this is a show that is moderated by us. While we do not pretend to know it all, we also will try to ensure fairness and ensure the best. So we're there to give the electors a chance to engage those who seek to represent them. And if that is the case and she has a follow-up question, we do follow-up questions also in our line of duty. So I thought it was important to give her a chance to do that. Then it got very heated. People were asking lots of questions. I mean, they started shouting. And while the police were trying to solve it, Yao Forson, your director,
yes,
who was director of the show. So, I mean, I thought that the police were dealing with it. And, it was still going on. So he just said to me, Winston, step in. So at that point, to be very honest with you, I didn't even know what I was going to say. And so when I got up, you have to maintain calm and address the people. So I got up and said, look, what's this? And I can't really remember what I said because I haven't listened to it again. But what I know I did was just to tell them that, look, these persons, what I remember is that these persons that you're fighting for don't even know you. And I say this because, I mean, I know this morning in reviewing the papers, you'd have talked about the Ododo issue. Now, when you talked about Ododo, for instance, did you hear, as part of the injured, the parliamentary candidates? You wouldn't hear any of them injured whenever you have these violence breaking out. And it is one of the things that people should always realize. So the Thursday before the Friday, we had interviewed the Boku Naba, and he had talked about the need to have peace. He had advised all of us that, you know, politics is about people giving you alternatives, and then you get to make a choice. And that choice can be done without violence. So we got up there, we tried to calm them down happily. They, you know, accepted it. Someone drew my attention to the fact that when I said clap for yourselves, that was more like being a teacher. You know, I love to teach also. So, but I mean, I am grateful to those who were there.
Yeah.
That when I spoke to them, they accepted it.
Yep.
I was particularly excited that when this gentleman, who became calm later, when he asked that, let's go, nobody followed him. So he came back. And I mean, he sat down, he sat through the whole process.
Yeah.
And I mean, I enjoyed the conversations. I mean, I loved how people came out there. You know, they were very, 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 you know, concerned about the deplorable nature of development in their part of the country. Mama, look, I say this, and I've said this 1,001 times. I have been complaining about the nature of my road from, you know, Yarefa to Abokobi. The road is very poor. Now, when I got to Boku, the Bolga-Boku road is good. I mean, few parts, few kilometers are still under construction. But when I was leaving Boku to Garu, and you can see this road now, to Garu.
Yeah.
So we'll get to a point I'll show you where we were contemplating having to get off the vehicle. I mean, if you go forward a little bit, you see that part, we're thinking, do we get down? Because we didn't know whether the car was going to get stuck.
Yeah.
So we told the driver, okay, so do we get down? And then you probably, you know, would go so that it'll be weight off the car so that you could actually go through it without you getting stuck. And so we tried. So you see this guy with a bicycle. So we tried using the right side through the bush, and the driver's vehicle gets stuck. So that small boy then draws our attention that says, use the other side, the left side, and you wouldn't have any problem. I mean, and this is not just that part of the road. If you go, I mean, as you continue driving, you see that.
Is there an alternative road, or this is a major road we're talking about?
This is the main road from Boku to Garu. This is not an alternative road, Mama V. This is the main road you're seeing.
When the politicians go campaigning, they use the same
We're trying
one?
to pass the right side here, you know, and because it's a bit hilly, where I mean, the vehicle couldn't go through. This is the stretch.
Is this what the politicians also use?
Yeah, they have to use this.
Oh.
They have to use this.
Interesting.
I mean, so there are two roads to from you know, Boku to Garu. You could go through, I'm told you could go through the Presbyterian Hospital, or you could also, you know, branch just after the Municipal Assembly on your right and go. So we use the Municipal Assembly stretch from our right. And we're told that, look, this is actually the best.
So no wonder road was high on the agenda.
Yeah.
A lot of people raised the issue of road. There was also the economy, but also interesting was the social inclusion bits. There were opportunities for persons with disability to also have get their voices ahead on the day.
Exactly, and you know, they had concerns about sign language interpreters. They had concerns about the share of the common fund. Now it's currently 3%. They want it increased to 5%. There are also concerns about a resource center, which they felt should be built for them. And you know, we've had this whole issue with you know, accessibility to public buildings. And that's a major challenge for them, and they talked about these. The good thing about this year's ballot box is that we're talking about social inclusion, equity, gender. And so we're speaking to the youth groups, we're speaking to women groups, we're speaking to persons with disability. And it's a reason why these issues came up. And there's a reason why we give them a chance to also ask a question. Because, you know, the fear is that if you open it up and say, okay, everybody come and ask a question, like you saw, unknown to us, the two main political parties had a gentleman's agreement that says, if I ask two, you ask two. No, you can imagine. If I ask two, you ask two. So they were telling me that, oh, but we were expecting that if we asked two questions, then they asked two questions. And I said, even me, I don't even know who are the politicians in this town. What I do know is that we met women groups, so we call the Queen Mothers to come and ask questions. We call the persons with disability. We call the youth groups, and then you open it up for everybody to come and ask a question.
Yeah. Well, that was a very good joy ballot box. Represented really what the people were feeling. And thankfully, we also had those who represent them, those who are seeking to get their vote there, also to give some answers. So kudos to you and the entire team for another successful joy ballot box. But of course, we have to say a big thank you to the Star Ghana Foundation and also UK Aid for making this possible. Winston, thank you.
Thank you for having me, and pulling me here.
That's Deputy Head of our Political Desk, Winston Amode. Let's cross over now and join Benjamin Akapo. He's live from the Odododio constituency following that violence there on Sunday morning.
Good morning, you're welcome to the showbiz segment right here on the AM show. My name is Kadi, and let's talk about what has been trending over the weekend. And one photo of dancehall artist Ras Kuku has been trending over the weekend, and it's a photo of him in the US with a policeman with his award. So we have Ras Kuku on Zoom this morning to talk about what happened before he traveled. I heard he was sent to the hospital, about that and about his award and what he's doing in the US. So good morning, Ras Kuku.
Kadi, good morning Ghana, good morning Africa, good morning US and Bronx, you don't know.
How are you doing? Yeah, I can hear you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, you know, we give thanks for life, we give thanks for everything, you know. Just that the weather for US here, we the match Ras Kuku small, but, you know, we have to deal with it.
Yeah, but are you working on a project in the US? What is happening there?
I came here, you know, to give thanks unto the fans for supporting Ras Kuku, especially the fans on the block, you know. I mean, the 167th Street, you know, I have Ras Kuku Poom fans over here, and people like Kenezo, Lambi, Danger, Blue, you know, Hans, one artist here, Twisha and his brother. We've been so supportive to Ras Kuku's brand, and especially the Kuntum Kununku album. And also, you know, Kuntum Kununku took me to US for the first time. So came here to just give thanks unto them and then let the people know that Ras Kuku and Pool Music love them same way. You know, and man like CNN, he was the one who organized, he's the one who organizes 3G Media, and also I appreciate his love and support same way.
Okay, so before you left to the US, you were at the Sound Clash, and then we heard that something happened. What exactly happened, and are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay, you know, 125% strong, you know. Yes, the left arm, you know, I get some dislocation on the shoulder, this part, but it was fixed at the Rage Hospital and everything was done.
Okay.
You know, they were like, Ras Kuku had to go through some surgery and thing, but I told management that no, me not dealing like that, you know. So I went in a local medicine way and everything nice. That is why I came here. I came here also to check on it, but I've seen that everything is okay. I'm okay, I'm good, you know, I'm strong. Before I came here, I performed on one of the TV stations, live band, and it was massive. So Ras Kuku is strong, fit, and, you know, ready to mash up every stage, you know.
Okay, Ras Kuku, how is GDA doing?
GDA is marching everywhere, you know. Yesterday I had an interview in the US, you know, with NDA, Nana, and people were like, yo, the GDA song there is bad, it's bad. The whole US is talking about GDA. And I know Ghana too is feeling the GDA, because when you watch the video and you listen to the vibes in the song, especially coming from Ras Kuku and the Pastor Mandem, that is MOG, you should know that, yo. So, and when you go on YouTube, the comment that coming is like, Ras Kuku, you should be the gospel artist of the year and then main vocalist of the year because of the vibes and then, you know, the melodies in the song. So I give thanks.
So that's War and GDA kind of has this gospel vibe. Should we expect more gospel vibes from you?
And I mean, pie, but me to sura me vampire. Most I jam me banka. You know, all the songs from Ras Kuku and Pool Music come like, you know, gospel, you know. Anything from Rastaman is a gospel thing and people should accept that.
Yeah. Okay, now we saw a photo with you and your award. You have your award with you in the US, right? Oh, yeah. So have you been taking it, you know, everywhere you go as you were doing here in Ghana?
Yeah, I'm not the one who takes it around. You know, the fans come in and, you know, carry it and move along with Ras Kuku, because they also have to feel it, you know.
Yeah.
Most of the people have never seen the award before, and then they are Ghanaians also who live here, and they need to see it and feel it and, you know, make the people know that, yo, something coming from Ghana is here in the US, and this is Ghana's Grammy.
Yeah.
You know, we've made this award so special to the extent that, yo, I've seen most of the people working hard to just achieve this, you know. And we give thanks, you know. The award, it is ours.
Yeah.
It is Ghana's Grammy, and we need to support it, you know, VGMA.
Okay, Raskuku, what are you doing to make sure you hold on to this award and then you win it again next year?
Winning again next year, yeah, is not Raskuku's, first plan, because we're working for the people. From way back, we make sure that we give them good music, good performances, and everything about music should be good. So we are not saying we are winning next year, but we are working for the people. If we should win next year, fine.
Okay.
But if we don't win, we still work for the people.
Okay, now elections are coming up. I want you to give the peace message to your fans watching you right now.
Asasi sunipeniani nipa intini watiana douniae na misinipeniani nipo asasi sunipeniani nipa intini watiana. Anyone, any of the youth or anyone who follows the politicians and go and fight is banku. He's banku. You got nothing.
Yeah.
You got nothing over here. You are banku. If you follow and go and fight and lose your life, don't go there. Don't fight. Go and vote and go house and relax and then look after your family because we need you. We need Ghana. Ghana is what me I have. When you watch the north, it is Burkina Faso. I got no land over there. South and east and west and east. When you come to the south, it is a sea.
Yeah.
Togo over here. And then I think Cote d'Ivoire over here. I got no land over there. The only land or place or home I've got is Ghana. When you destroy it, where will I go? Look at what happened in Nigeria. Hey, no, we don't want that in Ghana.
Okay, all right. So we don't want that.
Yeah. Bless up every youth watching.
So that's Raskuku's peace message to people out there for upcoming elections. And that's all we have for Showbiz for this morning. My name is Kadi.
Raskuku said it all. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care of what is beautiful. If you fight, you're banku.